Yankee Doodle dandy, a Yankee Doodle do or die. A real live nephew of my Uncle Sam, born on the 4th of July. Good boy!
The Johnny Rocket Launchpad. And now, here's Johnny. Hey, it's Curt Nelson here with the Johnny Rocket Launchpad, launching ideas in your direction. I'm here with my host, Johnny Rocket.
Hi.
The lovely and beautiful Heather Nixon.
Boom!
Yeah! And now I'm going to hand it back over to Johnny fucking Rocket.
And now, hey, it's Johnny Rocket. I'm going to hand it off to Heather Nixon. Go ahead, Heather.
What am I doing?
You're hosting the show. Go
I'm
ahead.
hosting the show.
Ready,
ahead.
go.
Well, we just had Professor Boudreaux, and I think he was really good at it, very knowledgeable. So what do you say we go over those rocket fire questions?
Yeah.
All right, Heather, here you go.
Wow.
There's the rocket fire.
Nobody can read your writing,
No,
Johnny.
I was
Come
just
on.
going to say that.
I would do it. I would do it if I could read your writing, but I
Yeah,
can't.
there it is. It's in English. There you go.
That's you
Not
call
in
that
Swahili.
English?
It's not Swahili.
That's like Swahil-english.
It's in Swahili.
It's really dark in here. The light is right behind you.
All right, Heather.
Well, one of the questions, the very first question was, should we fear the trade deficit?
I don't think so. I think it's a naturally occurring thing. And if we have a trade deficit, it's usually government entanglements of some sort.
I think I would have to agree with you. I think we should fear the national deficit.
Right, exactly.
But-
Yeah. If you have a trade deficit or a lack of trade, it's usually government regulations that cause that. That's my opinion.
But now,
I don't think you should fear it. Don't fear the Reaper, man.
don't fear the Reaper. Okay.
Go ahead, next one.
Do you think we have a strong market now?
No, it could be a lot stronger.
It's getting better though.
It could be like strong, like Curt Stankfoot.
That is strong. Can you smell it today?
No, you smell good today.
There's not a breeze.
You
in your
smell
direction.
like Old Spice today.
Old Spice. All right. Thanks, man.
I just thought
I haven't used
maybe-
Old Spice. My dad uses Old Spice, but
It's good shit, man.
so maybe my dad uses Old Spice, so like I sweat Old
Genetically.
Spice. Yeah, genetically. Right.
Yeah.
I have Old Spices in my cupboard. Is that the same
I
thing?
think I have some in my cupboard too.
So no, well, the question is, do we have a good market right now? I don't think, relatively from the world perspective, it could be better. It's not horrid, but it could be better. That's my opinion, and I'll leave it at that. Johnny Rocket.
That was like a signature at the end.
All right, thanks for listening.
Johnny Rocket.
Have a good one. All right, go ahead.
Have wages stagnated?
No,
No,
I don't think so.
I don't think so
Curt?
either. I would just have to say that as it's always been, people they're paying what they can for services and paying what they think those services are worth, and people are working for the wages that they can get paid for. And if they don't,
I think they should
if
negotiate.
they're not getting paid enough, they move on.
But I think you should be able to negotiate your wage.
Well, sure
like-
you could,
you know,
and you can.
and that's freedom. But majority of people are willing, if you're a good employer, you are going to pay your employees good money to keep them.
Right.
You know what I mean?
And we have the right to negotiate our wage. Your employer also has the right to turn you down.
Absolutely.
But you can ultimatum. You can go, hey man, I'm gonna have to get a raise, or I'm gonna have to move on. And your employer can be like, hey, no, I need you, man. Here's $2 an hour. Or sorry, I can't afford that. I'm gonna hate to see you go. Or you're a piece of shit. Get out anyway.
Yeah, I was going to fire you anyway.
Right, you're fired.
But if you're smart, you could be looking for other work while you work, which most people aren't, including me. I have not done that when I should have looked for another job while I was working. And it's hard, though. I give people credit who do that, but it takes a lot of discipline.
Sure does.
To look for another job, a better job, a higher paying job while you're working. Because the last thing you want to do when you get home from work is, let me look up another job. And let
No,
me get,
if you're smart, you do it on the clock at the job you're getting paid at.
well, it just depends on how many people are around.
Like,
Well, and plus, it's a scary thing to give up security to, if you have a retirement where you work. So
Right.
it's a big thing. A
Yeah.
lot of times you have to make a lateral move depending
Sure.
on what your financial situation is. So that's. But I would say, as far as wages stagnating, there are a lot of people who feel as though they have. Example, where I work for the state of Washington, and we have not had a cost of living increase in 7 years. And that's one of the big things.
Interesting.
Of course, the bad word, the union, is negotiating cost of living increases for, the bottom workers, whereas like management, the bigwigs in Olympia, are getting like a 6% raise.
Right.
And we haven't even gotten a cost of living increase. You know,
No.
and our starting wage for my job is 12 something an hour, you know, and then you put in your time and there are step raises, but you know, that's lower than Seattle's minimum wage now.
And again, we go back to Professor Boudreaux's examples that you should be able to negotiate your wage. Secondly, when you're in a government, you can't negotiate your wage.
No, you can't.
In a government job. But the individual should have the freedom to. And when you do it, when you create artificial bottom rungs in the system, especially with minimum wage, I think we can go back to our first episode. We've talked about this.
You can't go back to episode 1.
No, we can't. But we can go back to episode 2 in the sense that
Right.
I wasn't fucked up that night. Well, as bad. We can go to episode 2 and say, hey, you know, we have this, it's kind of a racist thing. And we were talking about how it was racist and how minimum wage prevented a lot of minorities in the system from getting work. They had possibly lower education due to zoning laws that prevented them from actually being competitive in the marketplace. You understand what I'm getting at?
I do.
But so minimum wage. But again, we can talk about minimum wage and everything is going to go up accordingly to the minimum wage when you have a minimum wage. So that's why Seattle right now, the rent is going off the charts right now due to the minimum wage. The cost of living is going up because those businesses have to pay their employees $15 an hour. When they do that, the price of everything else goes up. So really, it's a self-defeating purpose with minimum wage.
When he talked about, how he has these debates and he goes out to try and educate people, and there are people that just believe what they believe. When you have conversations with people, they believe that there should be a mandatory minimum wage because it's not right that these people can't earn a living. And it's like, what happened to the idea of starting at the bottom, working your way up, gaining experience? You have a roommate to split expenses, or, you live with family members longer. Why is it all of a sudden that you should just be given comfort instead of earning it?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. I'm with you. I think it's a great point, Heather.
All right. Next question. And don't even ask me what I think about this because I have no idea.
Okay.
What is public choice? Is that like People's Choice Awards?
No, public choice is like social contract theory. All right. So basically you have John Locke, and this is ivory tower shit. You basically have Thomas Hobbes and you had John Locke. Thomas Hobbes wanted a lot of government. He believed that you had to have a lot of government.
Too much.
Yeah, I
Too
still
much.
don't. I just
All right.
still don't get it.
All
I have to Wikipedia that.
Wikipedia, motherfucker.
Okay, this is the interesting one. That's maybe I know Curt and I's eyebrows raised a little bit when he answered this question. Is voting a right or a privilege?
It can be both. I think it can be both.
I think I would agree with you.
Because I don't think it's necessarily a right. Because what if you broke a law that refrained you from possibly voting? Which I think it shouldn't be. I think everyone should have a right to vote, including felons who have done their time, have gotten out of jail. They should be able to vote. He is correct, though, in the sense that your vote doesn't fucking matter. He is absolutely correct on that.
I don't know. I don't think so.
Your vote, you being a voter, all right, you actually tipping the scales one way or the other wouldn't make a damn difference.
I
No,
think
it's
that
the
that's
collective, though.
horrible. Yeah, I
It's
mean,
the collective.
I'm saying, but your individual vote wouldn't actually matter.
Right, but come on.
It's never the odds of it actually
no, but
mattering.
you can't tell that to everybody, or then you have the collective vote.
yeah, tell that to Al Gore down in Florida, hanging chads.
He already
man.
knows because he's listening to this because he invented the
exactly,
internet we're playing
exactly.
back on right now.
I'm thinking that voting is it is a kind of an obligation to your community. I think voting matters more on the local level than it does on a federal level. That's my opinion on it. I don't think it's necessarily a right, though. You don't have a right to vote. And we were Heather and I were talking about this. It's interesting. We were talking about is voting a negative right or a positive right?
Yeah, that's
Okay,
a
negative
tricky one.
right is a liberty and a positive right is an obligation of the government to give you something
Right.
or provide you with something.
See, I think
I don't know.
I would have to say though that I think if I'm going to live in a country where I'm forced to live by certain rules, I think it's my right to vote on those rules and who is supposedly who is enforcing and or
Your best interest.
writing. I think that if it's not a right, I think it should be.
I don't know. I think it's kind of a right. If you're a law-abiding citizen, I think it's a right.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think people who are in jail should vote. Probably.
No, I don't think.
But I think I agree with you. I think if somebody's a felon and they do their time and they get done with all that, and they're a participating member of society.
Absolutely.
I think they regain the right to vote.
Right. So I think it's a right and a privilege at the same time.
Yeah.
It's kind of weird.
Yeah.
Heather, you agree?
Yeah, I do. I mean, it's kind of like driving. I mean, it's not a right to drive. It's more of a privilege, and you lose that privilege. So in the same way, it is kind of if you go through the proper steps, you can drive. You have that right. So it's kind of the same thing, right?
Until you fuck up and...
Yeah. So are we moving on?
Yeah, I think we
move
better.
Don't
Is
get me.
socialism the enemy of liberty?
It's kind of the polar opposite, right?
Absolutely.
So I think I would have to say it is.
I would too.
Yeah, I think that it is, the opposite. I don't know, enemy. I don't know.
Yeah,
That's such a weird word.
I think I'd say that, I mean, like
Like they're going to war.
that is also to say then that dark is the enemy of light.
It is.
It's not. They coexist.
It goes
Yeah.
against the individual. It doesn't go against the collective. Where like socialism is more based on a collective thought.
Yeah,
where
I just don't
libertarianism.
I don't think there has to be an enemy thing there. I mean, I think they're
I like the
polar
word.
opposites,
I know he
it's
uses
an
that a
enemy.
lot.
It's an
and
enemy.
they absolutely believe opposite things, but that doesn't mean they can't coexist.
What I
without-
find funny though is most people don't know that like Hitler was a socialist.
Well, one of the things in
I knew that.
in
I knew you knew that.
in Colin Gunn's film,
Mm-hmm.
Wait Till It's Free, he was talking to, I believe they were in Scotland when they were talking to this woman. And she actually said that socialized medicine, it was liberty to her because it gave her freedom to not have to worry about medical care. So it was because she didn't have to worry about certain things were just taken care of. She actually felt free and secure. So
Okay.
that was just sort of her point of view.
But again, socialism actually it's more of a tyranny in the sense that it's somebody else making the decisions for everyone else that they have to live by. And yeah, we can all equally suck, basically, what socialism is really about. Hey, you want to suck with me? Yeah, let's fucking suck together, dude, because I don't like you being successful. And so if you are an innovator or an entrepreneur or something along those lines, you got to be able to step up and say, hey, I'm developed this. This is a new product. It's fucking awesome. It's going to make your life that much more efficient. We should celebrate that guy.
But can you not say, let's go suck together on the air?
Is that a secret?
Well, not anymore.
No. I don't want to. I'm going to be misery. Misery loves company. And that expression holds a lot of weight. There's a lot of envy. There's a lot of jealousy. And this is what has caused the socialist, I believe, to want what the rich and successful people have. And they can't do it. And they want to be just as rich and successful as they are. But those rich people, regardless of whether or not they have made that wealth themselves or they have inherited that wealth, they're still going to grow and create wealth through purchasing power of the money that they have. So by a rich guy owning a yacht, what is he doing? He's making
boating around the world.
Well, he's boating around the world, but he's also paying for the yacht, which therefore creates wealth, creates jobs. He's eating at fancy restaurants. Well, he's employing those people in those restaurants. So he is actually creating wealth. Is it fair? Life's not fair. There's no such thing as equality. Can't happen.
I think it is fair.
I think it's fair that he inherited money.
Yeah.
Why not?
Totally. It's fair that whoever willed it to him gave him that gift.
Right.
Otherwise, Christmas isn't fair.
So we should ban Christmas because Billy got more toys than
Right.
Tommy.
Now you're talking about my two kids.
Right.
No more birthdays.
Birthday, yep.
That's not
fucking
fair.
birthday.
Because that boy got more gifts. You have to have a price tag. You have to have a
Yeah,
limit.
come on,
It's
man.
fucking
Come on,
stupid.
man.
Fuck.
No more Mother's Day. That's not fair because what about those women who aren't mothers?
Yeah, right.
That's
Then,
not
unless
fair.
you have a women who aren't Mother's Day.
Right.
Oh, we could do that.
The non-Mother's Day.
Right, but no, because then
Or how about the single independent working class woman day?
There's got to be an acronym in there somewhere.
Single independent working mom's day. Or SIA day. Single independent American woman day.
I think we need to come up with something so we can call it Sow's Day.
Souse
Yeah.
Day. Yeah, that's that whole find the that's the military. You find the acronym
You find
and
the
then
wo- then
make
go
make
backwards.
the wording. Yeah.
Make the words fit later. Right.
Okay. So you pretty much moved right into, do you think equality is basically envy and
I did kind of answer that, in my opinion. Curt, go
yeah,
ahead.
you just moved right into that.
What's the question again, please?
Do you think equality is basically envy and
Envy and
That's
Diarrhea?
Swahil-english.
I think it says envy and diarrhea.
it probably is. Wait, let me
No,
do-
I don't think freedom is envy and diarrhea. I really
and
don't.
dangerous.
Is envy and dangerous?
Mm-hmm. It's envious and dangerous.
What do you mean by is it envious?
Like we were saying, oh, this rich guy has all this wealth. He has all this property. But it can be dangerous when you have people who want to take away from him through legal plunder, through legislation.
Well, yeah, but now we're not talking about freedom anymore.
Exactly. It isn't
So
freedom.
basically, I think when you were writing this question, you were using equality as sort of replacing socialism. People want to live in a socialist, everyone's equal society.
Absolutely.
I am Ohuru. All right. Is outsourcing labor a good thing?
I'm going to go with Professor Boudreaux, yes.
I believe it is because that's how I make a living.
Right. I mean, but if you think about it, if you buy a we kind of talked about this before. You have to buy American-made products. And outsourcing your company.
Who was it that said you can't outsource like
A lawnmower. That was,
And
Isn't it-
childcare?
wasn't that Sean Mulholland
People
or was
in-
it Alan
It was.
Scoble?
People in Mexico can't watch my baby, can't
Right,
babysit my
right.
kids.
You
or
can't
all day long.
outsource childcare and
mowing your lawn or
and
something.
shit like
Yeah,
that,
yeah.
yeah.
That was awesome.
That's
And-
service-based industry. But we're talking like building your fucking amps or you're building a microphone in China. If it's going to cost a business less money, that could be a good thing for the American consumer with the consumer in mind and the price. Because would you pay, we're talking on these microphones that probably cost around $400, but would these microphones cost $1,000? Would you still buy them if they were made in America?
America.
Right? America's cool, but would you still...
I would go buy the $400 Chinese version
Right. Why?
because it's cheaper,
Right.
and that's what I can afford.
And it's still the same quality.
right.
Right. But what people fail to understand is that when they're in other countries, like let's just say we're in China, they're living better than everyone else, even though it's a sweatshop. Right. I'm gonna
right.
use the
sweatshop.
I like how you said that. Yeah,
Effect.
even though it's a
Effect.
sweatshop.
it's an effect. They're living way beyond that.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, at the core, I kind of think a job's a job for somebody. Yeah, we're on the world economy.
Right.
And whether or not you think it's fair what they're making or blah, 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 that's your own personal opinion. But the bottom line is when I'm buying a product, it comes down to
Price.
I need the most I can get for the least amount of money as long as it's legal.
Right.
I'm not going to buy something stolen, but
Right.
if I can get something
Good
at a
point,
cheaper
Curt.
price,
Good
that's,
point.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I think that's a great point you bring up. As long as it's legal. All right. If you're not impeding, you're not, as
Right.
long as it's voluntary.
Right.
But those people those so-called sweatshops,
Sweatshops.
right? Those
Right.
so-called sweatshops, those people are making more. By banning those sweatshops, those people would be really in poverty. You know what I mean?
You're literally, I mean, okay, they're making 50 cents an hour or whatever, but
If everyone else is
need
making-
they need that 50
Right.
cents an hour, they wouldn't be doing it.
Right. If they're making everyone else is making 5 cents an hour, what fucking difference does it make?
Right.
They're fucking living it up, man. That's like somebody with $100,000 a year job here versus a person with $30,000.
And you just pissed somebody off just now, but I see
Yeah,
your
because
point.
I think
I see
maybe
your
you
point.
exaggerated a little bit.
But the buying power is
People
different.
in sweatshops, it's like they're making $1 million a year. They're
Yeah,
like
they're-
Well,
executives.
no, they're not making. I said
living it
100.
up.
I said 100,000. I didn't say a million. I said 100,000. The buying power is different in different countries.
It's complicated.
When you go to a different country, you don't pay fucking $20 for a pack of cigarettes like you do in Seattle now.
Right, and they
Right.
probably don't pay for electricity or indoor or water because they don't have indoor plumbing or electricity.
Exactly. There you go. But they're living it up.
They're living it up.
Hey, you know what? By banning them, you could actually create more of a problem by banning sweatshops. And I know I'm not defending them. I am saying that we are actually creating wealth in that area. That's all I'm saying.
I wouldn't. You're creating income in that area.
Much more than what they normally would have gotten.
Potentially.
by outsourcing.
Potentially.
Right. What are you laughing about? I'm like Ben Powell right now, motherfucker. I'm defending sweatshops.
Nice.
Go sweatshop. I support sweatshops.
I love
that should be our
sweatshops.
next T-shirt. I support sweatshops.
I support sweatshops with this sweater. The Johnny Rocket launch pad.
Jobs for all the little children.
Jobs for all the children. Hey, what other option do they have?
Well, if they had another option, they would probably take it.
Exactly.
So
if we have more outsourcing, then they can actually have markets to compete.
Yeah,
Right.
it's better to send your children to work in the sweatshop than to sell them to the human traffickers.
see, there's always something worse.
Right. There we go.
It can always be worse.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one.
Okay.
That's
All
a
right.
good analogy.
This is this
I
one just
support
like went
sweatshops.
downhill.
Yeah.
Downhill.
Explosion.
But I like it. I like it. Next.
Is the government responsible for gas prices? We skipped that one. We don't need to cover that, do we?
We can.
I don't have
Curt,
anything to
Curt?
say.
I think the government has more influence than we even know on gas prices, and we know about some of the influence that they have on gas prices. Would they want us to believe that it's just the market share? Absolutely, but I think.
But you know what's funny though? There was a great analogy somebody had pointed out that we actually buy water, bottled water, for more money than we do actual petrol.
Oh yeah, I suppose if you look at it like on per gallon, some people
Yeah.
do. Sure,
Yeah.
that for the Avion or whatever.
Yeah, naive, backwards,
Naive.
right?
Did you hear about
But,
that
like,
story last week where Starbucks is getting their water for free in California and then they bring it up here and sell it bottled?
Right.
Good for them though.
I mean, whatever. I mean,
If
but
they
what
can get away with that, then they're smarter than me.
yeah, but that's what I'm pointing out as that water is. Nobody bitches about bottled water being so expensive, but when it comes to gas, I think it's kind of a combination. There could be some government intervention, but there could also be a free market. Hey, maybe it's scarce. Maybe there's some scarcity
Sure.
going on. I don't know.
What's funny is, but Starbucks buying in California where there's a water shortage.
Yes, exactly. Because
Like,
that's what sparked the story.
right.
That's funny.
Because I mean, you could go to Alaska and like walk up to a
glacier.
You could probably set up camp at a glacier and bottle 15 million gallons of water and nobody would give a shit.
Right, exactly.
But you go to California where people aren't allowed to water their lawns if they can afford the price to water their lawn.
right,
And Starbucks is getting it for free.
right. That's funny.
Okay, so here's the last question. What is your opinion on labor unions?
Oh, Jesus.
Well, I agree.
Are we talking about
Sweatshops again.
well, kind of. Well, I liked his answer. He's absolutely right. You have the right to associate with whomever you want to. That's a freedom. That's a liberty. That's a right. So anyone can associate with whomever they want. So if you own, if Curt, we're going to create a union. We're going to call it the Curt Rocket Union, right? We could do that. We have free association. We should have the right to do that.
Dude, I just realized if the beginning of your name and the end of my name is Jaundice.
There you go.
The Jaundice Union.
Yeah, the Jaundice Union. But we could do that. And we could have the Jaundice Union. And when we have the Jaundice Union, let me do an effect there.
The Jaundice Union.
When we have the Jaundice Union, we could negotiate our wages. We can negotiate those things in a free market. But what I think the problem is when you have government unions, it's counterproductive. It doesn't mean anything. It doesn't make any sense. And that's my opinion.
I think the problem with a government union is like these are unions that are fighting virtually against the government, against the employer for the employee. There's a problem there right off the bat, just at the end of that sentence.
Right. The government should be equal, in a sense, because it's tax money that goes into the system. And it should be fair to some extent.
Mm-hmm.
But with most government jobs, it's like $30 an hour. I think. Not you, Heather. Not you. But some government jobs. Yeah, but I'm just saying that, or there is no free market in a government job. So how can you put value to that?
Yeah, and again,
You understand what I'm getting at?
yes, I do, and we've gone over this many times, but the union isn't necessarily the problem. It's the whole cycle that we see that what makes us hate union. When you see the union worker that drops all of his tools at 10:30 and 2:30, and he's going to get his 15-minute break no matter what, where, and it's standing around drinking coffee, all the union jokes.
Right.
When you see that, and then you have a union that's going to bat for that guy, whereas the non-union guy
takes
a break when he can get a break, and he's busting his ass because maybe he's part owner of the company, maybe he does own the company, or he's just working hard because he's trying to get a raise.
Right on.
Yeah,
It's a different ethic all the way through and through.
I agree with you.
There's a big difference between public, as far as I know, the public sector unions that I have belong to. There's a big difference between us and like the Teamsters, or what
Sure.
Curt is talking about.
Right.
We do not have the advantage of dropping our tools and just it's more, and our wages for state employees are far lower than a lot of the construction jobs, pipe fitters, all those sorts of things. So it's really night and day as far as those two unions go.
Right on. Anyways, though, it's Johnny Rocket here at the Launchpad Launching Ideas in your direction, the Northwest's only rock and roll libertarian radio show. And check out Glass Doctor of Seattle and Des Moines. And if you mention the Johnny Rocket Launchpad, you'll get 10% off your glass service. Auto, business, and home, Glass Doctor.
There are multiple locations out throughout the Northwest.
They'll fix your pain.
They'll fix your pains.
Oh, yeah.
Thanks and good night.
This is Johnny Rocket launching ideas in your direction. We'll be right back.